Oh, no glasses this morning. I don't know what I've done with them. Too busy. Good morning. I'm Linda and we're coming live to you from beautiful Brisbane, Australia, which happens to be freezing cold. How are you this morning? Let me know down below how you're going and where you're from, what's happening, etc., etc. Today I want to do part 2 of trauma, building a better you, and looking at some of the challenges that you'll come across over time and how we can go about shifting them around for you as well. Okay, so if you're here and you're new, let me know, #new. If you're here for the replay, let's do a #replay and really enjoy getting into and learning. And if you've got a notebook and you want to take notes, feel free to do so. The replay will always be here or on the YouTube channel. If you're watching via YouTube, remember to hit subscribe so that you know when the next video gets put up. Okay, and if you're on Facebook, then you know I'm here Monday to Friday, same bat channel, same bat time. Hi Jojo, how you going? Good to see you. Okay, so today I want to look at as we begin to build a better us, we come up against things that can trip us over. And one of those things is procrastination. And we don't procrastinate in the normal sense of the word of just sitting back and, oh, it'll happen. There are actually internal things happening at a heart level that we need to look at. So we need to be looking at transforming our heart more than anything. So one of the first things we want to do is say no to perfectionism. But how do we do that? Well, first of all, we've got to recognise that part of the reason we're holding back on changes in our life is because we want to do it perfectly, because the trauma has caused such a deep wound in us. And look, it pervades every part of us. And our brain's primary purpose is to keep us safe. So in order to keep us safe, we think, well, it develops a process within us, an internal process. If I do it perfectly, then I'll be safe. Okay? So the first thing is to recognize when you're feeling like I have to do this perfectly in order to be safe. Now, when I first realized that, it was a real awakening for me. Yes, I like things done a certain way, but I'm not over the top about it. But I realised that the trauma that I'd held on to for a very long time was making me feel like I had to be, if I went out, then I had to know every footstep I was going to take, where I was going to take it, what the shopping centre looked like, where I would park, how I would go about that, where the shop was that I needed to get to, and so on and on the list goes. And that is in the form of wanting to do things perfectly so I will be safe, so that the anxiety doesn't overtake me and stop me from getting to where I need to go in order to either, it could be anything. You could have an appointment, you could need to go and pick something up from the shops, etc., etc. Now, if this is happening for you, one of the good things that you can do after you've recognized it is get someone to go with you, or sit down. So get your iPhone, get your phone, irrespective of what brand. Mine's just Mac stuff because it all links together. So get your phone. Okay, now on mine we have the ability to make notes. Okay, so you want to get up where you can make notes, all right? And then you want to put a list down of what you've got to do. Now, I don't mean, I've got to buy this or I've got to pick up that. You want to make a list of, right, at this time, this is when I'm going to start my plan. And I'm going to, go to the car, then we're going to drive to the local shopping centre, then we're going to park, and it's a whole process that you're doing. Now, this might sound really dumb, but it's not. It's the smartest thing you'll ever do, because what you're doing is rewiring your brain and telling your brain that you're safe, okay? That you do indeed know the step-by-step process that's going to keep you safe. And it does help your brain not get triggered into the anxiety the more consistently that you do it, okay? Because a big part of trauma is either the CPTSD or the PTSD or the anxiety, okay? And it's overwhelming, all right? So we want to do everything that we can do possible to make our brain go, I'm breathing, I'm safe, I can do this, and I do it just one step at a time. Now, if your anxiety is crippling, like mine was in the beginning, I used to take one of my kids with me usually, quite often my daughter, because she could see and understand when things would get too overwhelming. So when I first started going grocery shopping, I would just hold the trolley and have a list, and she would help me with that, and she would unpack the trolley. And then as time progressed, I would say to her, no, I can unpack the trolley. And this might sound like really simple stuff to you, but when you've come through trauma and you're trying to heal, this is the reality of life, that we need to take care of ourselves. We need our brain to stop holding on so tight that it can let go and not have us living in a pit of anxiety. So we're going to do whatever it takes, all right, to do that. When you're feeling overwhelmed by it all, first of all, you're going to stop, because you need to realize and recognize that when you feel overwhelmed, it's from the trauma, okay? It's from the trauma that's carried in every cell of your body. When it gets too much, you're allowed to say, this is getting too much for me. I learned to do that, to communicate that with my kids when they're older, that this is all getting too much for me and I need time out. That's one part of it. And then the other part of the overwhelm is to sit down and give yourself some time to recognize when you were triggered into the overwhelm. Because once you start to recognize the trigger for the overwhelm is when you can then go back to step one and go, right, I can plan out step by step for this, how I want to manage it next time. Now remember, when you plan it out, it might not work perfectly, but when you have a plan and it doesn't work out, then you readjust it. And honestly, it'll feel in your chest like this is really hard and I can't do it, and your mind will tell you that you can't do it, but you can. Okay? I know you can. Another big thing is recognize distractions. Look, it is really, really hard to get our brain on track. Really hard. And it still, to this day, is hard for me to recognise distractions. I'm only just starting to get around to recognising when distractions happen. Now, distractions can happen in a myriad of different ways. Sometimes it could simply be, oh, that's a nice movie show on Netflix, I'll sit down and watch that. And we completely forget, not meaning to, but our brain's relaxed and it just feels so easy. We completely forget what it was we were going to do. I can't tell you how many times I've forgotten to go and get the cat litter, and I say, all right, I'll do that then, okay? No, I'll do that then. I've got to do this, all right? And this is why I have lists. I actually have a list. And look, I'll tell you, you've got to just Google apps for whatever situation you want to organise. I have an app and it's called Wunderlist. It's WUNDER, so WUNDER list. And I do my grocery shopping, and what I do, because my memory used to be non-existent, is every time I notice something I needed, whether it was groceries or anything else, okay, I put it on the list so that when I open it, I can see, and it's a reminder, okay? And have you ever felt like, oh, it's all right, I'll remember that, and then you just don't, okay? Well, that was the case for my brain. So do a list of some sort that's going to help you keep tracking. And the reason why you do this is so that, again, you're retraining your brain that this is a normal way to be. It's okay, I can do this. Distractions for me lately are my kids. But that's okay, because I'm recognizing this distraction, and then I can say, well, no, I need to go and do this now because I'm working on whatever I've got to do. Or, you know, if they're here, I just say, right, I need to go and clean my bathroom, so I'm going to go clean my bathroom. I mean, it may sound like good distractions, but for me it's not, because it gets my brain off track of what I need to do. And see, with trauma, that's look, I've lost days because of it, because we don't. I wish I could actually frame it for you properly, but we lose days if we're not keeping track of what's happening today. So I have quite a number of things that I do, and I do have a week to an opening diary so that I can see appointments and hope that it sticks in my brain. Okay, a big question is, do you have an end goal? Now, because we're looking at different facets of ourselves, so for me, I'm looking at the physical aspect of my life. So those on my page know that I found keto, which is helping heal my brain. Until I had keto, I was doing things uphill. I really was. But that's for me. So you need to find something that works for you, that helps your brain, food-wise. So I have an end goal, but it's not, oh, right, at this time this will happen. The end goal is always the bigger picture, that if I keep doing my gym, if I keep eating right, then I'm going to be well. So sometimes the end goal isn't date specific, but then other times you need date specific timing to make sure that you go back and reflect on your list of what you either need to do or buy or attend to. Okay, I remember in the beginning I used to have lists of what I needed to do each day. So, you know, did I need to eat? Have I eaten breakfast, lunch, dinner? Have I had a shower? Have I made the bed, etc., etc.? And again, they seem like simple things, but the reality of trauma is wherever we are, and it's all different for all of us, wherever we are in healing the trauma, we need to come back to the basics in order to lay a good foundation for the future of where we're going back into life as well. Okay, so it's a valid thing to make these lists, that the things you need to do at home, you do first. I've only just gotten to the point where I can go, oh, the dishes need doing, right, I can slot that in and do that. And I only got to that point 2 days ago, okay? Sometimes because I'd get focused on other things, get distracted, then I'd forget that the dishes need doing, all right? And it sounds really simple, but it's not. It's when you've come through trauma, doing things like this aren't natural. They aren't simple. They are things that we actually have to put energy and effort in to retraining our brain to doing these things. But the good thing is our brain is plastic. So as we do more of it consistently, our brain does actually heal. So like I said, 2 days ago, all of a sudden my brain had healed enough that now I can go, okay, I need to do the dishes, right, I'll do them then. And I'm not perfect in every area yet. Oh, wow, Serena, that's list becoming OCD. Did you do too many? Yeah, you have to be careful. If I was you, I would just break them down to the basic stuff, because then you're focusing too much on the list, not what's around you. Yeah, what you need to do around you. Oh, excuse me today. Okay, reward yourself. I really struggle with this. Good stuff. I really struggle with any list. Oh, no, Serena, that's no good. No sub-lists. Otherwise, you're not having the energy to move into the doing, okay? And you're not moving the mindfulness into the now. So, yeah. And look at, too, with the lists, if you're doing lists and sub-lists, etc., yeah, throw them out. You shouldn't be doing that. Look at or sit down and ask yourself, if I'm doing lists and sub-lists, what am I avoiding feeling in my heart? Okay? Yeah, that's right, Joe, they are. They are really tricky. Oh, my goodness. It's because distractions for us are, it's not just a case of having boundaries, okay? So if you haven't been through trauma, then boundaries, even though they're emotionally hard to do to begin with, they're doable. But when you've got trauma, we go beyond just needing boundaries. The distractions actually come from the mental level because the brain's going, oh, over there, you know. And so what we are doing essentially is bringing our brain back into focus on where we need it to be. And it's hard because then we do have to face that we've got something at a heart level that we've got to examine and look at. And sometimes we just have to sit there and go, this is damn hard, okay? This is damn hard work and I want to cry, so I'm going to cry. It took me ages to understand that it was okay to cry, okay? Long time, but it's doable. Everything's doable if we do it together, like we do in group. We do it together, okay? Now, the reward yourself, I've always struggled with this. How can I reward myself for something that I just have to do? So I find that the reward myself for me is simply I'm going to take time out from having to think about where I want to be, what I want to do, the life I want to have. I'm going to sit down and go, right, just going to breathe. And this does come back to the perfectionism side as well. For me, I've certainly found that I'm driven to want a fulfilling life, okay? I want a fulfilling life, so I have to be aware that in that I've got to let the boundaries go. Yeah, that's true, Serena. Yeah, that's very true, self-sacrificing. So my rewards aren't about financial things. They're about, okay, I'm just going to take some time out, maybe make a date to go to the movies with friends or my kids, or I'm going to go sit down by the water and journal. I love that. And for other people, it might be go sit in the park and journal. But for me, it gives me time to reflect on how far I've come, where I want to go, that sort of thing. What would be fulfilling for me, how I can feel good about my life. That's a real reward for me. Now, that might sound a bit crazy for some people. I don't know. But I feel rewarded. I feel fulfilled in me when I take time off to do that. So not like rewards. Yeah, it's a whole different way of looking at rewards, I would say. Rewards tend to bring up images of going and spending money, okay? And to me, that kind of reward is so temporary. I want to look for a reward that is soul deep, like something that is fulfilling to me and that I can look back and go, yeah, in that moment I rewarded myself by going and doing something that was fulfilling to me. It created a memory for me so that when I'm doing the hard work of recovering from trauma, I have a whole lot of moments where I feel good. I can reflect and go, oh yeah, at the time I couldn't walk. My kids all took me to the movies. Actually, my kids reminded me too, at the time when I was bedridden, they all cooked me dinner, they got me out of bed and they said, Mum, we know you can't talk. We just want to do this and be with you. Oh gosh, now I'm going to cry. Sorry. Those kind of rewards are fulfilling. Oh yes, that's a fulfilling one. Yummy lunch is fulfilling. Yum. Well, it depends. Did it create a nice memory? Did it enrich your life? I don't know. It may have. A good thing to do too is let others know of your goal. Okay. And it can be a simple thing. If you're in group with us, just hit us up and let us know of your goal and then let us know how you went for the week. it's really good to start communicating our goals to other people and getting encouragement that we can do this. Even when we think we can't, we still can. And I say use inspired thinking to get your motivation started. Sometimes, especially when it's really, really hard, like we're sitting there and we just don't know how we're going to get out of bed. We don't know how we're going to get out of the chair. We don't know how we're going to get out of the car even. When we go, right, okay, how can I think something good about where I want to be and what I want to do? So sit there and take some deep breaths and imagine how your life will be. Imagine breathing it in and right, this is what I'm aiming for. And even if the aim is for only next week, you're going to turn your thinking around, you're going to turn how you feel around, and you're going to know that your human spirit is bigger and greater and more courageous than anything this world has. It's priceless. Nobody can put a price on it, and we can do this. Okay? I'll just read. Yeah, that's right, Joanne. That's exactly right. Sit by the water in the sun and journal how far I've come and where I want to go with healing. Absolutely. And do you know that it's priceless to do something like that? Because not only do we acknowledge how far we've come, we acknowledge where we are today and where we want to go, and it builds this heart-swelling information into us, and we go, right, I remember when I'm sitting at the water, I go, right, this is where I want to go with my healing. This is my next step, okay? So definitely. Yeah, that's right, Serena. It's a different type of reward. Loving yourself regardless. That's exactly right. It means that I'm going to be in this moment and I'm going to love myself no matter what stage of my trauma recovery I'm at. And one of the things that I really struggled with right back in the beginning was I was so obese from the medical mismanagement, etc., 2.5 years in bed, anyhow. That I really struggled with. How could I ever have a life again? How would anyone ever want to know me, etc., etc.? And that's all valid, okay? It's valid that we think that because of the society around us. And then one time I read in a book that people who like you for who you are, regardless of what the outside package looks like. And I clung on to that thought and that belief. I didn't, obviously back then I couldn't talk a lot. So in my heart, I just fostered that belief that people would like me for who I am, irrespective of what the outside was. And so I went on to develop who I am, not what the trauma wanted me to believe or who I was. And it definitely helped me heal and transform my heart along the way. Having that belief changed the negative mindset that woe is me. And, you know, the thoughts that go along with all of that is just phenomenal. When we're going down the woe is me, no one's going to like me, everybody hates me. Oh, that's a song. Think I'll go and eat words. We can make ourselves laugh. But they're valid at the time because that's all. It can be two things. It can be that's all life's ever shown us, and we don't know who we are, who I am, and how worthy we are. And then it can be what's happened to us as well, can take us down no self-worth path. But I chose, we have to start choosing to believe different things in order that the difference can come into our lives as well. Yeah. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, that was very, very beautiful of them to do that. And because of my memory, I hadn't remembered it until they actually told me. And as soon as they reminded me, I remember because the trauma was so bad and, you know, obviously I couldn't talk. They also found low lighting and candles or something to put out so that I wouldn't be triggered into a migraine. They were very, very thoughtful what they did. Yeah, okay. So what you do, Serena, is choose to begin to believe that it's not the truth, okay? It's not the truth of who you are. You're a powerful person with infinite love sitting inside of you, and that love is greater than any of these rubbish beliefs, okay? When I say they're valid, I mean they're valid in that though it's what we've collected along the way, along the journey of life. So we go, yep, okay, I get that that's happened. I understand why I have those thoughts. But here's the thing, I want to change it. I want to start believing that good people will be in my life. I know I'm a good person. Despite what's happened to me, I know I'm a good person. I'm a kind and caring person. Pardon me. And I'm going to believe that there are people in this world who will just like me for me. And that's what I put in there, and I started believing it. And as I said yesterday about the stop sign, actually, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but this is what I do. This is what I give to my clients. I actually haven't written the word stop on there, but I have, and my daughter cuts the circles out because cutting circles out is not my forte. But it doesn't matter. Get one of these, get it in red, and put stop signs all the way around your house if you have to. Blue tack them everywhere. It's so important that we have well, for me too, I'm a visual learner. Having visuals all around the house helped remind me to stop the thoughts where they were, okay? And say, no, I'm not going down this road anymore. It's rubbish. And my human spirit can overcome everything one day at a time. We're human, but we build all this into us. Yeah, it takes time. It does take time. And look at me. It's taken me, I don't know how long to get here, but a long time, a significant period of time, because the trauma, I was at the point where I couldn't walk, couldn't talk, couldn't balance. So it does take a significant amount of time. But the question then is, do I want to do this, or do I want to spend another 10 years like this? And I refused to spend another moment longer like this than I had to be honest. Yeah. I think it was 10 years ago. Actually, 10 years ago in July, we're in July, that I began to get out of bed on my own and sit in Facebook groups and help people. Because obviously I had 20 years of experience doing personal development and learning tons about abuse, etc., etc. So I could help other people just by typing and answering questions, even when I couldn't talk. And that was one of the things that helped retrain my brain. And because when I couldn't remember a word or couldn't access my vocabulary, I'd sit here. Actually, just bring back memories. I'd sit here and I'd Google words like it until I hit the word, use the thesaurus, things like that. Oh, really, Serene? I didn't realise 5.5 years ago. Oh, my goodness. Has it been? Oh, wow, that's amazing. Yeah. And see, our journey is so unique individually, but we can do it, and we do it together, and we do it with new information that helps us break through the trauma one day at a time. Okay, beautiful girls, thank you for being with me today. If you have any other questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. I'm more than happy to answer them if I can. Thank you. It's been wonderful having the conversations with you too. I've really enjoyed this morning. I have to go, but I will see you same time tomorrow with some more information which we can enjoy together. Okay, bye for now.